everybody, I have an exciting announcement. My new album, Just My Guitars Volume 2, is now available for download. I cover old and newer rock songs using only guitars and only the guitars I own. You can download individual songs or the whole album from Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, and a few others that I can't think of at the moment. Links to those are in the description, so go check it out. And most of all, enjoy. This album has even more than Volume 1, so feel free to check them both out. And now, on to the video. Hi, I'm Irving, and I'm an Adamaniac. Last time, the Riddler cut into Commissioner Gordon's phone line to let us know Frank Gorshin won the Battle of Wills.
Night, the cloak for sinners, draws its dark folds over Gotham City, where the Riddler hides out in a little-used gymnasium.
It's good to know some things never change. And it's a smart move bringing him back this soon, because all last season we fans were screaming for a Frank Gorshin story. They tried to con us with the Puzzler, which was a joke and not the kind they intended. Then they gave us John Astin, who did an excellent job of making the role his own, but he just wasn't this show's Riddler. If he'd been in the part from the beginning, I think he would have made an outstanding Riddler in a repeated role so we could get to know him. But that job went to Frank Gorshin and nobody else could fill it. And I'm going to digress here for just a moment. While I was trying to research the ins and outs of the contract dispute that kept him out of Season 2, I found lots of people who said he appeared in 2 episodes in the 3rd season. And technically, that's true. If we count the less than 20 seconds he was on screen at the end of the 1st episode teasing this one. I don't count that one. If you're going to talk about how many episodes he actually guest starred in this season, this one is it. Just saying he was in 2 episodes makes it sound like we had 2 Riddler stories, which could throw a lot of people off. He starred in 1 episode in this season. How about we leave it at that?
Me? Throw the biggest fight of my career tonight? In Gotham Square Garden? I won't do it.
Oh, yeah.
I won't go into the ring if the fight's fixed.
He had you kidnapped and brought here. Do you really think he doesn't have a way to force you to do it?
Oh, yes, you will, Kid Gulliver. Yes, you will. I have a riddle for you. What do many boats, shovels, laundries, whistles, and hot showers have in common? Steam. Put him in the steam room and shrink him down to size.
Bringing him back in the 2nd episode was also a good move. The 1st episode needed to focus on introducing Batgirl, and the way Frank Gorshin dominates every scene he's in, using him could have seriously muted the significance of her appearing. Somebody put some thought into this.
Kid Gulliver, down for the count in the 3rd?
It's hard to believe, Bruce.
Yes, as chairman of the Gotham City Boxing Commission, I'm going to call an emergency meeting.
Is there anything in Gotham City that Bruce Wayne isn't the chairman of?
It looks like undesirable elements have once again infiltrated the manly art of self-defense.
Boxing is not self-defense. Boxing is deliberately and without provocation stepping up and getting into a situation with another person where the goal is for one person to give the other person a concussion. If that's manly, I'm glad I'm in touch with my feminine side. I know a lot of guys dig boxing and they're welcome to it, but I can't consider it a sport when the goal is to hurt another person. That's not sport, that's gladiators. We were supposed to have outgrown that after the Roman Empire. So much for that idea. Oh yes, the Riddler also stole the box office receipts by mesmerizing the cashier with that box he was working on.
I'd like 2 seats for tomorrow.
That box is blinking. Oh, please!
And away we go. After the theme, Batgirl reappears at the window. Where she keeps her outfit so she can change so quick, that's not for us to speculate about. Why did she have to change into her Batgirl outfit to call her dad? Couldn't Barbara Gordon have done that just as easily? We get a montage of the process for contacting Batman, and the next thing we know, he and Batgirl are examining the Riddler's box.
And you caught no glimpse of the robber's Batgirl?
No, I heard the cashier scream, called Commissioner Gordon's office, and brought this box directly here.
It's lucky you were in the vicinity of Gotham Square Garden.
Yes, luck is an important weapon to a woman crime fighter, Batman.
Was she being sarcastic? Did she feel Batman was talking down to her? That tone sounded like it, but it's hard to tell. If it was, it went right past him. But then we are talking about the manly art of self-defense, so he's not too focused on woman stuff right now.
As I suspected, this little blinking device is merely an added touch to pique our curiosity.
Sounds like a trick of Riddler's.
Indeed, he's back.
So it does nothing. It sits there and blinks. It's an idiot box. Well, it came to the right place. And there's a note inside for Batman.
Who rules the ring? No prince, king, or Raja. Look for a clue on the walls of Kafaja.
Kafaja was King Darius I's favorite brand of scimitar.
Look for a clue in the walls of Kafaja. What could he mean this time, Batman?
Kafaja was a famous temple in what was the land of Mesopotamia, Robin.
Well, I gave it a shot.
Barbara studied the history of southwestern Asia in college, Batman. Perhaps if I call her, she could be of some... What happened to Batgirl?
We forgot all about her once we started talking man stuff and she's just a girl. Gordon gets a call.
That was the boxing commissioner. He was calling about Kid Gulliver, who's vanished. Disappeared completely while his seconds were carrying him from the ring down to his dressing room.
Gee, I wonder who pulled that off. Riddler has given Kid Gulliver a shot of something that will wipe his memory for the past few days. It would seem the Riddler has his own personal supply of Versed. In case you don't know what that is, if you've ever had surgery and went under anesthesia, you've had it. You know that blank spot in your memory between right before the surgery and who knows how long after it? Versed is the reason. They put it with the anesthetic so that even if you wake up during surgery or something like that, you won't remember it.
That shot I gave him won't wear off for a week.
What was in that shot?
A little riddle juice, K.O.
Okay, so that last little dissertation about Versed was completely pointless. It's riddle juice, which is the street name for Versed. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Betsy comes in.
Here are the Bernousses, Riddler. And my latest news break. Mushy Nebuchadnezzar, unchallenged champion of Southwestern Asia's boxing world, arrived in Gotham City tonight, ready and willing to take on any and all comers.
Mushy Nebuchadnezzar? I've never heard of a mushy boxer getting very far.
Well then, slip into your burnous, Riddler. Because Mushy Nebuchadnezzar is going to appear on my midnight sports telecast.
Her full name is Betsy Boldface, and she's a local TV personality. She's also the Riddler's latest squeeze. No cameos this season. I learned that the reason we had those in season 2 was because so many of those famous people wanted to be on the show, there just wasn't any place to put them all. So somebody came up with the idea of the window cameos during the Bat Climb, which was one of the show's more brilliant ideas. But now we don't have time for them. We're invading Barbara Gordon's apartment from the balcony.
Sorry to bother you this time of night, Miss Gordon. We would have entered the building by more conventional means, but we didn't want to startle the tenants.
It's much better if we just scare the crap out of you so you spray us in the face with mace or something. Fortunately, her dad told her to expect them.
Well, as I recall, some strange scroll work was found on the walls of that temple indicating men used their fists to fight long before the supposed beginnings of boxing in ancient Rome and Greece.
Holy hieroglyphics! How would Riddler know that, Batman?
He read a book? Some villains do that, you know.
That riddle he sent us, perhaps we should examine it again. Who rules the ring? No prince, king, or Raja.
Could he mean the prize-fighting ring?
We should have thought of that ourselves, Batman.
What other kind of ring could it be, people? He's messing with boxing. He kidnapped a boxer. He made a boxer take a dive. But I'm sure ring could mean anything. Maybe he's taking a page from Penguin's book and trying to get Barbara Gordon to marry him. Give me a break! Even Batman and Robin aren't that thick. Just then, her daddy drops by.
Tonight seems to be my night for gentlemen callers.
I was walking home, honey, and took a chance the Cape Crusader would still be here. Kid Gulliver's been found, Batman, outside Gotham Square Garden, but he remembers nothing. An injection of some drug seems to have affected his memory.
So talking to him is pointless.
But we might take a look at Gotham Square Garden. Maybe we'll find something there.
A truly professional crime fighter would have already thought of that. That's probably why Batgirl tainted the scene by removing Riddler's box.
Mushy Nebuchadnezzar,
Yes.
Southwestern Asia's unchallenged champion.
Remember when everybody on TV smoked? But I have to admit, I never saw a news person smoking on camera. On the other hand, you'll notice she's not doing anything with it, just holding it, and there's no smoke coming off it, so it's not even lit. For her, it's a forerunner of the fidget cube.
And also one of the most colorful prize fighters in the world. For instance, Mushy, tell us, just what do you eat?
Tamarisk berries, bulbul bird eggs, and licorice. But only licorice native to my country.
What liquids do you drink?
Just camel grass juice.
Batman and Robin are off to check the box office for clues. The first clue they find is Chief O'Hara. Since he usually looks like that, it takes them longer than it should to realize something's wrong with him.
What car? Who's Commissioner Gordon?
Riddle me this, dynamic dullheads. What have the following in common? Hemming, basting, purling, and tagging.
Sewing. What does sewing have to do with boxing?
Hemming, purling, basting, and tacking are all words related to needlework.
You think they gave Chief O'Hara the same injection that they gave Kid Gulliver?
I'll take Chief O'Hara down to headquarters in his car. You follow in the Batmobile.
Somehow, the Riddler got close enough to Chief O'Hara to shoot him up with Riddler juice. That's our chief, always alert. We saw a little bit of this in the first episode, but it's something we're probably going to have to get used to. Barbara Gordon's only friend.
You know something, Charlie? All I could see under that burnous was mushy Nebuchadnezzar's chin, and it didn't look much like a southwestern Asiatic chin to this student of history. And there's something about that Betsy Boldface. I'm afraid Batman and Robin are headed for more than just Gotham Square Garden.
Charlie agrees. That's a good sign.
Maybe Batgirl should investigate the local source of tamarisk berries, bulbul bird eggs, licorice, and camel grass juice.
She assumes that whoever he is, he really eats that stuff. The scary part? She's right.
I picked up more than mushy Nebuchadnezzar's tamarisk berries.
Tamarisk?
And bulbul bird eggs and licorice and camel grass juice. Asiatic delicatessen. Riddler, Batgirls are on my trail.
Batgirl?
Yes, Batgirl.
She went there alone. She may be overestimating her skills because he has a bunch of henchmen, but he shouldn't need them because he has an ace in the hole.
Put these earmuffs on. Siren, let her have one of your most stunning notes.
That pitch is supposed to mesmerize anybody who hears it, hence the earmuffs. And by Batgirl's expression as we go to commercial, it may be working.
What happened? It didn't work. It didn't work.
Or not. Batgirl is wondering just what this is supposed to do.
Well, I'd never tried my note 2 octaves above high C on a woman before.
For the record, it didn't work on Betsy either, and she wasn't wearing earmuffs.
Good. Now toss her into the steam room as you did Kid Gulliver. Batgirls wilt just as quickly as other women.
She was certainly effective. Maybe next time call the police and get some backup before you go in. Riddler has 3 more leading prize fighters outside waiting for Siren's song. Time to bring him in.
This is Jerry Quarry, Mushy, a contender for the heavyweight title.
Oh, yes, Jerry. Contend with this.
All right, Riddler, they're under my spell. They'll obey any order now.
Any order from anybody. So if he puts them in the steam room and Batgirl orders them to go back out and beat the daylights out of everyone, they'll do it. Good plan. Jerry Quarry isn't credited, but he really was a contender at the time. He has a fascinating story. Check it out if you're into that sort of thing. Riddler sends him into the steam room and says, "Now for Batman." Siren says, "I have plans for both Batman and Commissioner Gordon." I guess we'll find out what those are later. Right now, there's a problem.
Batgirl's gone, boss.
Gone!
Gone! Gone! No! Somehow.
No.
Must have went up a bench.
No. Would you like a quick shot of camel spray?
No.
Oh, what's looser than a thread, a fish, flying ribbons, a woman's tongue?
So if it had been a man who escaped, there'd be no problem. You sure about that? He says, "I've got to get on some good riddles so I can coax Batman into the ring with mushy Nebuchadnezzar." The next day, Gordon summons both Batman and Barbara.
I have called Batman, Barbara, but I called you too because I needed someone to talk to until he arrived. Oh, I know you'll be late at the library, but with Chief O'Hara still in a state of amnesia, I'm lost. That's all, just lost.
Commish, if Chief O'Hara is your go-to for figuring things out, you've been lost for a long time. That pile of letters on his desk, all riddles. He can't decipher any of them, and they're all addressed to Batman.
What do bells, curtains, twins, and hair have in common?
That's easy, Daddy.
Easy?
Something like his riddle of last night. Who rules the ring?
Ring?
Bells ring out, curtains ring down, twins are perfect ringers, and hair often comes in ringlets.
Gordon never was very good at these. I suspect he was born 40 years old and never had a childhood.
Any aggressor should beware his successor.
Well, it isn't a very good rhyme, but it must have something to do with Nebuchadnezzar.
So he's still taunting Batman, eh? Aggressor, successor. Sounds like a challenge to me.
Challenge?
Yes, the Riddler wants to get you in the ring with mushy Nebuchadnezzar. You know, I'm having a hard enough time saying that name 50 years later. What was it like for those poor guys? Just then, the Riddler calls for Batman.
Riddle me this, Batman. What are the chilliest 12 inches in the world?
It's the Riddler. The chilliest 12 inches in the world, cold feet.
Don't fall for it, Batman.
What suit of cards lays eggs?
One that's chicken-hearted.
Don't fall for it, Batman.
My line is plugged into radio station GTCR. That means that all of Gotham City has heard you call a coward.
That's it, Commissioner. Regardless of who mushy Nebuchadnezzar may be, or what the Riddler is up to, regardless of my private or my public image, one thing I cannot abide is being called coward.
He fell for it. He says, I'll meet Mushy at Gotham Square Garden tonight. It's good to know that Gotham Square Garden can prepare for such a major event in such a short time. Boxing trunks over his tights. Really? Is he going to wear his cape into the ring? As the contestants prepare, Betsy and a partner are getting ready to report the event.
Phil, take over for a minute. I'll be right back.
Then again, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
You make an excellent second, Alfred.
I trust no one will penetrate my disguise, sir, but I think perhaps you'd better call me Gus.
And there's a surprise in the audience.
Mrs. Cooper, how nice to see you. My daughter, Barbara.
Your daughter. How do you do, my dear?
I was wondering why Aunt Harriet wasn't in the first episode.
Oh, Commissioner, I've been such a wanderer. I just got back from the New Hebrides this evening. I didn't want to let the boys know. I wanted to surprise them. And there was nobody home, not even Alfred. And then I heard that Batman was fighting this mushy Nebuchadnezzar. And you know me, I love a fight.
This would be one of only 2 episodes where Aunt Harriet appeared. Madge Blake's health was failing and she didn't have the stamina to do every week. Sadly, her heart gave out less than 2 years later. She was only 69.
Spritz them, Riddler, with the metal filings in your gloves. Betsy's under the ring with a magnet.
Metal filings and a magnet. Now we're getting back to the Batman world we all know and love.
Wait.
I cannot believe Batman fell for that. My dad used to do that to me when I was 7. And now his feet are magnetized to the floor so he can't move. Time for the Riddler to start pummeling him.
Holy sudden incapacitation.
Yes. The drawing power of this fight seems to have concentrated beneath the ring.
But it won't occur to either of them to look under there and find out why. Barbara suddenly excuses herself and heads to the ladies' room.
Through a door as Barbara Gordon, and seconds later, making her startling reappearance as Batgirl.
Where does she keep it? In her purse? Was she wearing it under her clothes just in case? That's got to make it hard to pee. Where'd she keep the cowl and wig? I know, she has lots of suits and she hides them in women's rooms all over the city, just in case.
Batgirl! Yes, Betsy Boldface, we meet again.
She was the only one who had the presence of mind to look under the ring for the problem. And I know the name is Betsy Boldface, but for the life of me, both when I watched it at 14 and when I watched it again for this review, I could swear they're saying Betsy Boldface. And I think it fits better.
Ladies and gentlemen, riddle me this. When is a prize fight like a beautiful lady? Answer. When it's a knockout.
Always a good idea to look first. Riddler decides it's time for a hasty exit.
What happened to you?
She happened to me.
Get her! Batman's on our tail. Let's get out through the steam room.
And it's fight time. So far, I've been pretty impressed with the 3-bat choreography. Alfred is getting into it too. He even gets to put the finishing touch on the Riddler.
Any final riddles, Riddler?
Yes. What do you throw away that keeps returning?
Boomerang.
Correct. And I'm a boomerang. And I shall be back.
He was mistaken about that. This would be the Riddler's final appearance in the series. And of course, Batgirl is gone.
But this time I saw where she went, through that transom. And her Batgirl cycle's parked in the back alley. Let's follow her, Batman. Let's really find out who she is.
Oh, no, old chum. Let us respect her disguise as she respects ours.
But she might be my age and I could ask her on a date. With that car you got me, she might even say yes.
Some camel grass juice, sir?
Gosh, Batman, this camel grass juice is great.
Beware of strong stimulants, Robin.
What? That one lost me. Is camel grass a stimulant? I know people make it into an herbal tea, but I couldn't find anything about it being a stimulant. I also couldn't find anything about it being made into juice, but that's another matter.
Yes, Bonnie.
There's a Miss Circe out here to see you, Commissioner. Lorelei Circe.
Circe? Circe. Name doesn't ring a bell, but send her in.
Lorelei Circe. Her parents wanted her to be an evil siren.
Miss Circe? What can I do for you?
It's what I can do for you, Commissioner, that really counts.
Will the siren succeed in the plan she has for Batman and Commissioner Gordon?
Everybody kind of forgot about her. We have our cliffhanger for next week. You know, I'm not minding the one-episode format. We have good pacing, we get our perils, but we've tightened things up a lot. Most of the fluff that we used to pad out the dual episodes is gone. I think I could get used to this. But now I really want to know where Barbara Gordon keeps her Batgirl outfit. Supposedly she has to get it from the secret room, but she has it right there at hand at Gotham Square Garden twice. How? Even Batman can't do that. So it's just more proof that women are superior to us men. Sorry guys, but it's true. Remember who thought to look under the ring. Robin and Alfred knew that was where the problem was and just stood there. That's how it usually works. Guy spots problem, stands there scratching his head, woman comes along and fixes it, then man takes credit for it. It's what we do best. I'm Irving and I'm an Adamaniac.